Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're tackling a serious and complex topic: the most dangerous countries in the world. It's important to remember that these rankings are based on data from sources like the Global Peace Index, which considers factors like violent crime, political instability, and ongoing conflicts. The situations in these places are constantly changing, and behind every statistic are real people living their daily lives. This list isn't about fitting. It's about understanding the challenges faced by millions around the globe. So, let's get into it. Starting our countdown at number 10 is Russia. The ongoing conflict with Ukraine has dramatically impacted its safety and stability. This large-scale military operation has led to significant casualties, internal displacement, and a tense political climate. Beyond the immediate conflict zone, there are reports of increased internal security measures and a crackdown on dissent, which contributes to its position on this list. The economic sanctions imposed by many countries have also added a layer of instability, affecting everyday life for many citizens. At number 9, we have the Central African Republic. For years, this nation has been caught in a cycle of sectarian violence between various armed groups. Despite the presence of peacekeepers, the government has limited control outside the capital. Bangui, clashes over resources, particularly diamonds and gold, fuel the conflict, leading to widespread human rights abuses and a severe humanitarian crisis. Access to basic necessities like food, clean water, and healthcare is extremely limited for a large portion of the population, making daily existence a struggle for survival. Coming in at number 8 is Mali. Located in the Sahel region of Africa, Mali is battling a complex insurgency involving several extremist groups. The conflict, which began in the north over a decade ago, has since spread to the central parts of the country. Frequent attacks on civilians and security forces, kidnappings, and political instability have become tragically common. The situation has been further complicated by recent military coups, which have strained relationships with international partners and hampered efforts to restore peace and security. Number 7 on our list is Somalia. While the capital, Mogadishu, has seen some improvements in security in recent years, the country as a whole continues to face immense challenges. The extremist group, Al-Shabaab, still controls significant parts of the rural territory and regularly carries out attacks against government and civilian targets. Decades of civil war have shattered the country's infrastructure, and recurring droughts and famine have created a dire humanitarian situation. Piracy off the coast, though reduced, remains a threat, adding another layer to the country's complex security problems. At number 6, we find Sudan. The nation has been plunged into a devastating conflict between the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary rapid support forces. This power struggle has turned cities, including the capital Khartoum, into battlegrounds. The fighting has resulted in thousands of deaths, mass displacement of people, and a complete breakdown of essential services. There are widespread reports of atrocities, and the humanitarian crisis is escalating at an alarming rate. The international community is struggling to broker a lasting ceasefire, leaving the future of the nation and its people in a state of extreme uncertainty. Halfway through our list, at number 5, is the Democratic Republic of Congo. Despite being rich in natural resources, the DRC, particularly its eastern provinces, has been plagued by conflict for decades. Over 100 different armed groups are active in the region, fighting for control of territory and valuable minerals. This violence has led to one of the world's most severe and protracted humanitarian crises, with millions displaced from their homes. Civilians are often caught in the crossfire, facing brutal violence and exploitation. The government and international peacekeeping forces struggle to protect the population in this vast and difficult terrain. Number 4 is South Sudan. Since gaining independence in 2011, the world's youngest nation has been mired in a cycle of civil war and ethnic violence. A fragile peace agreement is in place, but localized conflicts continue to erupt, often over cattle and land. Widespread food insecurity, a consequence of both conflict and climate change-induced floods and droughts, has left millions on the brink of famine. The lack of basic infrastructure and rule of law makes large parts of the country incredibly dangerous, with high levels of crime and frequent violent clashes. Entering our top 3, at number 3, is Syria. What began as a civil uprising in 2011 has evolved into a complex, multifaceted war involving regional and international powers. While large-scale fighting has subsided in some areas, the country remains fractured and volatile. Various factions control different parts of the territory, and sporadic violence continues. The economy is in ruins, infrastructure has been destroyed, and more than half the population has been displaced, either internally or as refugees. For millions of Syrians, daily life is a constant struggle for safety and basic necessities in a country devastated by over a decade of war. Our runner-up, at number 2, is Yemen. This country on the Arabian Peninsula has been devastated by a civil war that started in 2014. The conflict has pitted a coalition led by Saudi Arabia against the Houthi movement, resulting in what the UN has called the world's worst humanitarian crisis. Airstrikes, shelling, and a naval blockade have crippled the country, leading to widespread famine and the collapse of the healthcare system. A truce has brought some respite, but the situation remains extremely fragile. Millions of Yemenis depend entirely on humanitarian aid to survive, and the path to a lasting peace is fraught with obstacles. And the country currently ranked as the most dangerous in the world is Afghanistan. Following the withdrawal of international forces and the subsequent takeover by the Taliban in 2021, the nation has been plunged into a deep humanitarian and economic crisis. While large-scale conflict has decreased, the security situation remains precarious, with threats from rival extremist groups like IS-ISK. The collapse of the previous government and the freezing of international assets have led to economic freefall, widespread poverty, and starvation. Furthermore, severe restrictions, particularly on the rights of women and girls, have created a climate of fear and oppression, adding another dimension to the country's perilous state. It's crucial to remember that these are just snapshots of incredibly complex situations. The people in these nations show incredible resilience every single day. If you're moved by what you've heard, consider looking into reputable humanitarian organizations working on the ground in these regions, like Doctors Without Borders, the Red Cross, or the UN Refugee Agency. Even small contributions can make a difference. Thank you for watching and for taking the time to understand these global challenges. If you found this video informative, please give it a like and subscribe for more content. Stay safe, and see you next time.